I've had celiac disease for 8 years.
I've had celiac disease for 10 years.
I've had celiac disease for 7 years.
I've had celiac disease for 11 years.
I was diagnosed 2 years ago. I've been suffering for as long as I can remember.
Every day we're seeing many patients in the office, and we're doing research both in the clinic and in the lab. In fact, we have more research publications than any other medical center in the world. We're attacking this problem from many different angles, using many different research disciplines. We're moving very fast, actually, but we really need to move faster.
What we pursue in epidemiological research is clear insights regarding factors for why celiac disease occurs in certain populations and possible mechanisms for what triggers celiac disease. We then test these factors in a laboratory, and we could then modify these factors and reduce the risk of celiac disease, preventing it in families who might not have celiac disease now but are at increased risk.
The management of people with celiac disease is superior at the center because we are very innovative with the diagnostic testing that we do. Examples include us being the first group in the region to really use breath tests to evaluate symptoms, our pioneering work in the application of video capsule endoscopy for celiac disease, and most recently, the use of a DNA-based stool test for infectious pathogens. We are setting the standard of care for individuals with celiac disease.
We are studying the interaction between the microbiome and intestinal cells and how that leads to celiac disease. We hope to identify specific steps and pathways that can possibly be intercepted. Our goal is to use medications or perhaps specific diets to alter the intestinal microbiome in a favorable direction. This could lead to changes in celiac disease initiation and progression.
The Celiac Disease Center at Columbia University is one of the only centers in the United States performing clinical research for children with celiac disease. In the past, our research has helped to define the face of celiac disease in children, which helps us to educate physicians and lead to an earlier diagnosis. In addition, our team-based management style has really become the standard of care for treating children with celiac disease. And further, we're performing research to better define the genetic underpinnings of celiac disease that will lead to development of additional therapies.
It is the goal of our research into the genetic and immunological basis of celiac disease to determine every single step in the complex pathogenesis of this disorder. We have made significant strides in understanding the genetic basis of celiac disease, and while almost 50% of the genetic basis of the disease is understood, there's much to be learned. Working to fully elucidate these genetic alterations will give us insights into why certain individuals with these genetic changes develop celiac disease and what might be points of intervention to prevent the disease from occurring in others. It is this genetic information that will help us change the course of the disease.
A growing area of research at the center is on non-celiac gluten or wheat sensitivity. Increasingly, people within the United States are adopting a gluten-free diet in the absence of celiac disease. Many of these people respond to withdrawal of wheat, indicating a wheat or gluten sensitivity. We have studied this population of gluten-sensitive individuals recently in collaboration with investigators from Italy and Sweden. In fact, our recent research has shown biomarkers, abnormalities in the blood that can potentially be used as a diagnostic tool for this condition. So our research has actually propelled this condition from something that many investigators didn't think existed to a real disease for which there may be a real test to aid in the diagnosis. The biobank is an essential source of material for our research. Epidemiology, immunological studies, studies on gluten sensitivity, and more all rely on the biobank for the necessary biological data to generate and confirm hypotheses. Because there's no animal model for celiac disease, we need to work with human samples. Using these human samples, we can answer many of the questions we have, and in fact, we can answer questions that we haven't even thought of. Our biobank is our most valuable asset, and with it, we can collaborate with scientists around the world. Over the years, the Centre has become the leading site for research on celiac disease in the world. We continue to lead and coordinate educational activities and research worldwide to improve diagnosis, treatment, cure, and prevention of celiac disease. The Celiac Centre has really grown, not only through increasing number of patients that come to seek care at the centre, but also increasing number of physicians working there and researchers working in the centre.
As you can see, there are a great number of research areas pursued at the center. This is a dramatic increase over the past 15 years. This research concerns adults and children, those with celiac disease and those with non-celiac gluten or wheat sensitivity. And by far, the bulk of this research has been funded by private donations. Families have reason for hope when it comes to the future of celiac disease. We are making strides daily, both regarding why celiac disease develops so we can stop it in its tracks.
We can change the life of someone close. We can change the lives of millions.
Millions of sufferers.
It would change the life of my daughter.
It would change my son's life.
We can change the life of my son.
It would change my daughter's life.
My daughter's life.
It would change my life.
It would change my life.
It would change my life.
It would change the lives of my entire family.
It would change millions of lives.
The amount of research generated in the Celiac Centre is unparalleled. Our ultimate aim is to change the course of this condition. That is, to provide a cure for those who are diagnosed and to prevent it from occurring in those at risk.
We're hoping to identify therapies that could enable adults and children to more easily consume a gluten-free diet, as well as to identify better ways to monitor their care.
We hope that the work that we're doing, studying the role of the microbiome, can be brought directly to our patients with therapeutic options, such as altering their microbiome with probiotics or specific diets, or maybe even figuring out what the celiac microbiome looks like to possibly prevent disease in those carrying the genes in the future.
Further understanding of these newer developments in the genetic basis of celiac disease will inform us of newer tests, newer avenues for research, and also give us an insight into why only certain people with these genetic alterations develop celiac disease. Knowledge gained will allow us to intervene at specific points and possibly reverse the course of this disease.
There are multiple examples of how pouring money into research can make major advances. Most recently, the AIDS epidemic is an example of that. The sources of funding for the AIDS epidemic research was from the government, from the pharmaceutical industry, and a large contribution from private sources.
Celiac disease does not have governmental or pharmaceutical support. We are entirely dependent on the generosity of our private donors.
Another example of how funding made a difference was the development of the polio vaccine. All of that finance came from private sources.
And that is the model we are looking at with celiac disease. If we can cure polio that way, we can do it for celiac disease.
We've made great advances, but we need to increase our research efforts. We've got to get there faster. There's no doubt that increased finance leads to increased research. More money, more research, more advances. And that is our goal.
Let's get there sooner.
Let's get there faster.
Let's get there sooner.
Let's get there faster.
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 Celiac disease is expanding throughout the world and in our own families. We can't afford to wait. We need these breakthroughs now for this generation.
It's time. It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
Why wait?
Why wait?
I don't want my son to wait any longer than he has to. It's up to us.
It's up to us.
It's up to us.
It's up to us.
Major advances have been made and made through putting money into research. We want to do that with celiac disease. We want to get the answers and we want to get them quickly. And it's only through ongoing generosity that that will happen. So thank you very much for coming along and supporting the Celiac Centre.